Welcome to Lesson 4 in Unit 7, Patterns in the Sky. In this lesson, students will work to answer the question, what patterns do you notice about the moon? In this lesson, students make predictions about patterns in the nighttime sky. Students figure out that the phases of the moon repeat in a cycle. The moon can be in the sky during the daytime or nighttime, and it rises and sets in a pattern. Students make connections to the storyline by making observations and identifying patterns in the moon. There are several opportunities for ELA and math cross-curricular connections throughout the lesson. You can look for specific standard connections in the Unit 7 teacher guide. This lesson will take approximately 4 days to complete. You'll begin the engage portion by reminding students of the anchoring phenomenon and the different patterns they've observed in the sky. You'll ask students about the patterns they've discovered in the sky so far and what they think they might see in the nighttime sky. You'll then have students work independently using the Night Sky Predictions student journal page to use pictures and words to make a prediction of what the nighttime sky looks like. After students have drawn their picture, you'll invite them to gather in a circle with their Night Sky Predictions student journal page, and you'll arrange their nighttime drawings so that all students can see them and ask questions about the patterns they see and what the moon looks like. You'll then show students the photos of the nighttime sky in the slides. You'll ask students what else they wonder about the moon and if there's anything else they'd like to add to their drawings. You'll revisit the driving question board to add any new questions and highlight any others connected to the learning goals of this lesson by calling attention to questions about the moon or patterns of the moon. For the Explore portion, you'll use the Read Aloud guide to read The Moon Tonight, Our Moon's Journey Around Earth. As you read the book, you'll have students follow along by coloring in their moon on their Patterns of the Moon student journal page. After reading, you'll ask students what they notice about the moon's shape over the month and if they've ever heard a word to talk about the shapes of the moon. This is a good time to post the Phases vocabulary card. You'll then display the moon phase cycle beginning with the new moon and ask students to describe each shape and how the shapes are changing. For the Explain portion, you'll invite students to gather in a circle to analyze and interpret their observations around patterns of the moon. You'll use the provided questions to guide your discussion around the question, what patterns do you notice about the moon? The goal of this class discussion is to use student observations to figure out patterns in the shape of the moon and how the moon phases are a cycle. During the discussion, you will add to the Unit 7 pattern chart. By the end of the discussion, students should understand that the moon phases happen in a cycle. We can make predictions about the shape of the moon based on the cycle. They will also have a visual representation of this pattern. During the discussion, you'll bring up a local weather page or moon phase calendar that shows the forecast for the next 10 days or 2 weeks. You'll have students make observations and discuss with a partner about the patterns they see. For the Elaborate portion, you'll project the sun and moon simulation as a way to demonstrate that the moon rises and sets similar to the sun, and how the moon can be at different positions in the sky. For the Evaluate portion, you'll have students complete the Moon in the Sky Quick Check student journal page. To support student sense-making across the unit, you'll orient them back to the driving question board. You'll ask, what did we learn about the patterns of the moon? And what new questions do we have? By the end of this lesson, students will have used observations of the shape of the moon to describe patterns and cycles of moon phases, and made observations about when, where, and what shape the moon appears in the sky. In Lesson 5, students will explore how we see the moon and why we sometimes see the moon in the daytime sky. For more information about this unit, visit myscipartners.com.